Today we have the all-new Kia EV9. In this video I'll talk about what the EV9 is, how I feel about the interior space, and what it's like to drive it. I remember the day Kia released the EV9 like it was yesterday. Granted, it was only a year ago, but the EV9 sparked a lot of interest and many people, even who are not into cars, were asking if I saw it. And I have to give it to Kia. Looking at the design, they created an attractive 3-row SUV that not only looks great, but is also practical. Now that the dust has settled and the EV9 entered the market, let's talk about it and some of its technical aspects. Based on a dedicated EV platform, the EV9 features McPherson struts in the front and a multi-link suspension in the back. No adaptive dampers, but a self-leveling rear suspension is available. When it comes to powertrain, we get few different options depending on the trim. The base rear-wheel drive light model has 215 horsepower and range of 230 miles. Light long-range rear-wheel drive variant with bigger battery gives you 304 miles per charge and has 201 horses, and a 379 horsepower all-wheel drive variant for wind, land, and GT Line models that can do up to 280 miles. Since the EV9 is built on an 800-volt architecture, you can go from 10 to 80% in under 25 minutes using DC fast charging, and with a level 2 charger that you can, for example, install at home, you're looking at 7 to 9 hours. Oh, and in case you wonder, you can tow up to 5,000 pounds if you get the all-wheel drive variant. Now, before we talk how it all works together and what it's like to drive the EV9, let's jump inside and talk about the interior space. Following current trends, Kia took a minimalistic approach when designing the interior. The layout is intuitive, and even though there aren't that many physical controls, I'm happy with what we get. The car is not overwhelming to use, and it's easy to figure out its core functions. The cabin feels very spacious and airy with plenty of storage to put your stuff in, and that wasn't hard to achieve since the EV9 is built on a dedicated platform for electric vehicles. The technology, typically for a Kia product, works great. The gauge cluster provides all the information you need and has 3 different designs, but unfortunately, you are still unable to display full navigation map, only turn-by-turn directions. The infotainment display has crisp graphics, smooth animations, and a user-friendly interface. We get haptic shortcuts for multimedia, physical controls for temperature and fan speed, and to fully control the climate, you have to rely on screen plays between the gauge cluster and the infotainment display. Not the best solution since it is distracting to find the right setting when driving. Good sitting position shouldn't be hard to find as the front seats offer good adjustability and are very comfortable. Now moving to the back, the EV9 comes standard as a 7-seater, but 2 captain chairs are an option, and with a $2,000 relaxation package, you get power lounge seats with leg extensions in the second row. The third row is not gonna blow your mind, but it is usable, and if you really try, you can have 2 adults travel there. Lastly, the trunk. 44 cubic feet behind the second row and 82 cubic feet after folding all seats down are pretty respectable numbers. Alright, so that was the interior of the Kia EV9. Let's get it on the road now and see how it drives. Despite its fancy, futuristic design, driving the EV9 doesn't differ from a normal car. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Hyundai and Kia make the best mainstream electric vehicles, and the EV9 only proves that. The powertrain has been programmed very well. The power management is great, 270 miles of range are realistic, and other brands can learn how to calibrate regenerative braking. You can have it in an automatic mode where the car will slow down as needed. use one of the 3 levels of regen braking, or turn on one pedal driving. Getting used to the last option shouldn't take you long, but if it's not your cup of tea, simply turn it off and the EV9 will feel like a well-refined car with an internal combustion engine. Speaking of refinement, the ride comfort is superb. The cabin is well isolated and the suspension does an excellent job absorbing all impacts coming from road imperfections. At the same time, the driving dynamics are great for something that's this big and weighs 5,700 pounds. You can obviously tell that it's a heavy SUV that wasn't designed for spirited driving, but the EV9 handles well and is pretty predictable thanks to a low center of gravity and good suspension tuning. With the EV9, Kia proved again that they're not playing games and are serious not only when it comes to designing practical vehicles that meet drivers' needs, but also creating user-friendly cars of the future. If you're looking for a fully electric 3-row SUV that's below $100,000, the EV9 will be the best proposition in the segment. Still, it's not going to be a cheap proposition. Pricing starts at $56,000 for a base, rear-wheel drive model, and an all-wheel drive is a $4,000 option. My fully loaded GT Line tester was priced at $78,000. If you have any questions about the EV9, drop a comment and I'll answer them. Thanks so much for watching and I'll catch you later.